Hello everyone, welcome to 2D Board Gamers. My name is Dave, and today we're going to take a look at the third part of the Trickster Takeover scenario. This is all about Loki. So this is our second Loki scenario, but there is something unique to this scenario, definitely compared to the other one and any other scenario for that matter. But so kind of a quick review on the three parts of the Trickster Takeover. So the first scenario is all about the Enchantress, which she has charm counters and she tries to enthrall the players. The second part is called Trickster Magic, which is a modular set that I believe is the default for both scenarios because it comes in the box. But this is all about minions that are either mind controlled by the Enchantress or tricked somehow by Loki. But the fact that it's also a modular set means you could do it with other villains as well. And the third part and the focus of this video is Loki himself. So we've got Loki, God of Lies. He's got a dash for scheme, dash for attack, Asgard Mystic. If Loki, God of Lies has 10 per player or fewer remaining hit points, flip this card, and he starts with 20 per player hit points. Now, there are two modes to play this particular scenario. So one is just the standard rules, where he would get 20 hit points per player. If you're playing 1 to 4 players, okay, that's great, single table. But there's an epic multiplayer mode as well. Some Arkham Horror scenarios had epic multiplayer, and now we have this in Marvel Champions. So that's great. Okay, so we see side B of the main scheme. Unfortunately, we did not get side A with the setup, but we go with what we got here. So it's Worlds Collide. It's 2 threshold per a new symbol, which has got 3 of the little per player symbols on the image. Each player icon on Loki, God of Lies, counts the total number of players in all game areas. And each multi-player icon on this scheme counts as the total number of groups in all pods. Cards cannot affect this scheme or Loki, God of Lies unless they refer to those cards by that title. And if the stage is complete, the players lose the game. Okay, so say we have 4 tables of 4 players each. That's 16 players total. So like Loki's hit points would be 20 times 16. But the Worlds Collide would be 2 times 4 because we actually have 4 tables. So we have 4 groups. So it would have a threshold of 8. But we don't add scheme normally. So there's some other mechanic going on. Let's see what it is. So what's going on is that Loki actually has 4 avatars. And when you start the game, you're going to shuffle the avatars and randomly assign one to each group. Now, each group has a set of 4. So one of the examples here is Loki the Rascal. So he's a 1 scheme, 1 attack avatar of Loki. Force response. After you resolve a boost card during Loki the Rascal's activation, if that card is a treachery, either deal it to yourself as a face-down encounter card or spin 1 resource of any type. Force interrupt. When the villain would be defeated, place 5 per player shatter counters here and flip this card instead. And that is the number of players in this specific table. And we do get to see the backside of Loki the Rascal. So let's take a look at that. All right. After you defeat Loki the Rascal, he becomes a fading figment. So this is side A2. It's an illusion. When revealed, shatter the illusion. See the set aside shatter the illusion card. Choose a group in your pod. Then place synergy counters on their unified front environment equal to the number of players in their group. And Shatter Illusion says, when Fading Figment is revealed, follow these steps to shatter Loki's illusion. Remove all shatter counters from Fading Figment, then deal damage to Loki, God of Lies, equal to the number of shattered counters removed this way. Swap the Fading Figment in play with a random set-aside villain, Avatar Loki, side face up, then set the hit point dial of that Avatar Loki villain to its printed hit points, and each player then gets a face down encounter card. And each group's got these synergy environments, and one of them is United Front, which is what the Fading Figment for Loki the Rascal referenced. So if you're playing an epic multiplayer, you get to put some shatter counters on another group's United Front. So United Front is a synergy permanent, max 1 per player synergy counter here. Resource, remove 1 synergy counter from here, generate 2 wild resources. So that's really good. Another synergy card we have is Domineering Force. It's a permanent, max 1 synergy counter here per player. When a friendly character attacks, remove 1 synergy counter from here. That attack deals 4 additional damage. So wow. So that would get by somebody getting rid of another Fading Figment of a different Loki. All right, but we have 3 more Loki avatars, so let's take a look at those. All right, then we have Loki the Miscreant, B1, 1 scheme, 2 attack, Avatar Loki. After resolve a treachery, place 1 threat on the main scheme and 1 threat on each side scheme. And then when this villain would be defeated, place 5 per player shatter counters here and flip this card instead. We do not get to see the Fading Figment for B2, unfortunately, or the others. Then we have Loki the Knave, side C1, 2 scheme, 1 attack, Avatar Loki. After resolve a treachery, deal 1 damage to your identity and 1 damage to each ally you control. And then when this villain would be defeated, again, you place 5 per player shatter counters here and flip the card instead. And then we have Loki the Wretch, which is D1, 1 scheme, 1 attack, Avatar Loki. When Loki the Wretch activates against you, discard the top card of the encounter deck. If a treachery was discarded this way, Loki the Wretch gets +1 scheme and +1 attack for this activation. And again, when the villain would be defeated, place 5 per player shatter counters here and flip this card instead. But you might be wondering, is there other ways to get shatter counters? Well, yes, there is. One of them is by defeating side schemes. So this particular one, Lofty Goals, when defeated, place 2 shatter counters on the Avatar of Loki villain. It has an acceleration token, 5 threat, and as a boost, take 1 indirect damage for each character you control. Another way to gain shatter counters is to defeat minions. One example is Grendel here. He's 1 scheme, 1 attack with a star, 6 hit points, Brute, Dark Elf. Guard. Force Interrupt. When Grendel attacks, discard the top 3 cards of the encounter deck. For each treachery discarded this way, Grendel gets +1 for this attack. And when defeated, you get to place 3 shatter counters on the Avatar Loki villain. And we also have Malekith here. 2 scheme, 2 attack with a star, 5 hit points. He's a Dark Elf as well. Retaliate 1. Force Response. After Malekith attacks you, discard the top card of the encounter deck. If that card is a treachery, deal it to yourself as a face-down encounter card. When defeated, you get to place 2 shatter counters on the Avatar Loki villain. Now, you may remember Worlds Collide does not add threat per turn. So you're kind of wondering, well, how do we lose the main scheme? Well, because obviously it's going to be more than just Loki killing all the players. So we actually do have another main scheme. This is Mischief. So the main scheme is Mischief and Mayhem. 8 threat per player. Force Interrupt. When this scheme would be completed, remove all threat from here and place 1 threat on Worlds Collide instead. And when an identity would be defeated, change that identity form to Alter Ego. Set its hit point dials to 1 and place 1 threat on the Worlds Collide instead. So we have 1 Worlds Collide, 1 main scheme, and then Mischief and Mayhem is for each group. And Loki doesn't want to lose his playmates, so if you actually die, we're going to just add a threat to Worlds Collide, and you get to brush off with 1 hit point in Alter Ego. All right, so that is Mischief and Mayhem. So what happens when Loki is got less than 10 per player remaining hit points, well, then we flip the card. And on the back side, we've got Loki, God of Lies, stage 2. Again, he's dash dash Asgard Mystic, but when revealed, each group in standard mode attaches the set aside intense focus to the avatar of Loki villain in their game area, and each player playing in expert mode flips the intense focus attachment to the total focus attachment. So, yes, you can have some groups playing standard and some groups playing expert, but we've got these two new focus cards that make Loki tougher. So let's take a look at them. Okay, so intense focus, which we will have when we get him to half hit points and we flip to Loki stage 2. Or if you're playing expert, you will start with this. And intense focus is Loki, the avatar gets +1 scheme, +1 attack. It's a permanent. The avatar of Loki villain gets +2 per player hit points and gains steady. And then when revealed in standard mode, you're going to discard the top 2 per player cards of the encounter deck and the top 5 cards of each player's deck. So kind of getting some milling going on all decks, which is annoying. And then but so that's starting the game. But then total focus would be when you get to stage 2 and expert. The avatar Loki villain gets +3 per player hit points and gains steady. When revealed, discard the top 2 cards per player of the encounter deck and the top 5 cards of each player's deck. Find the Dark Scepter and reveal it. If the Dark Scepter did not enter play this way, give the avatar Loki villain a tough status card. All right, so let's take a look at the Dark Scepter, which attaches with total focus. All right, and then the Dark Scepter item weapon attached to the avatar Loki villain. The avatar Loki villain gains Stalwart, gives him a +1 attack. So total focus and Dark Scepter give him a +2 attack. And he's Stalwart instead of steady. Treacheries cannot be canceled. And after you resolve a treachery, spend 2 resources of the same type to discard this card. So that's kind of annoying. That shuts down treachery cancelers. All right. Well, that was Loki. And then, like I said, you can play him standard or you can do the new epic multiplayer. So that's very interesting. That's going to be very fun. I think next year at Con of Heroes and big conventions like Gen Con and stuff would be another good place to play this scenario pack. So yeah, that is pretty cool. Thank you for watching, everyone. Please like, subscribe, and click the notification bell.